Climate change and its impact are a grave concern to the entire world. Tibet being the third pole, its continuous deteriorating environmental condition is not only affecting the plateau, but also its neighboring countries and the world in general. The Central Tibetan Administration Environment and Development Desk under Tibet Policy Institute focuses on research on Tibet's environment and works on creating awareness on the issue. The desk is making an appeal to bring Tibet's environmental issue on the global platform during the upcoming Global Conference on Climate Change, COP26. Today we will talk about Tibet's environmental issues and why is it a global concern with Dechen Palmo, who is a researcher at Environment and Development Desk, Tibet Policy Institute. Tashdile Deshenla, it's really good having you here. Welcome to Tibettv.
Thank you, Sakinala, for having me here.
So, Deshenla, can you tell us about the current environmental crisis of Tibet? What are the major issues Tibet is facing and how are these issues going to have an impact on the entire world?
Before answering your question, I would like to talk a little bit about Tibet in general. And Tibet, they're known with the different names. Tibet is known as the roof of the world. Tibet is the water tower of Asia. Tibet as the third pole. So there are different names given to Tibet. So this clearly shows the global importance of the Tibetan plateau. As of now, the Tibetan plateau is facing a grave environmental situation. So the first, I want to stress about the glaciers melting. So due to the climate change and with the failed Chinese government policies, the glaciers in Tibet is melting twice the rate as that of the rest of the world, right? With all this, climate change and the failed policies, this also led to the grassland desertification, all this permafrost are melting. So these are due to the climatic condition general people are facing. So secondly, I want to focus on the damming issues. There are many Tibetan rivers which are transboundary rivers and it flows from Tibet to different countries. So there were around 1.5 billion people who are directly or indirectly dependent on the Tibetan rivers. So all these major rivers are dammed by Chinese governments. So these have impact not only to the Tibetan but has impact also to the downstream countries. And the third one is natural disaster. So since 2016, there are consecutive, natural disaster happening inside Tibet. And there were floods, droughts, landslides, earthquakes. So there are many natural disasters happening inside Tibet. So these are the three main issues that Tibetan plateau is facing now.
Tibet Policy Institute have recently released a book called Tibetan Perspectives on Tibet's Environment. So can you tell us what is the highlight of this book?
Unlike other books, this book has a compilation of a research done by Tibetan researchers who successively, from past 2010 to 20, there were many researchers who have worked on the issues of environmental issues inside Tibet. So these books contain articles, research papers, important issues that Tibet is facing now. The main highlight or main points this book has is on the mining issues that is happening inside Tibet and the damming issues and also natural disaster, as I mentioned before, and the littering of garbage and there are many. It
the
covers
nomads.
Whole nomads resettlement also. So these books cover whole of. If you look at this book, if you go through this book, you will get the general idea about the environmental situation, what's really happening in Tibet.
So Deshenla, what recommendations do you propose to the world's leaders, organizations and even the individuals to address Tibet's current environmental crisis?
With this, demand or request, or we called this as a 5-point call for action. We have a 5-point. So while attending COP, we demand UNFCCC or United Nation to recognize the global ecological importance of the Tibetan Plateau. And the secondly, it's strengthening climate change research on the Tibetan Plateau, because it's very important, Tibet being the third pole, it is very important to know the current status of the Tibetan Plateau. So third is to respect the traditional knowledge of the Tibetan way of life, respect the knowledge of Tibetan nomads who have settled there for thousands of years. Fourth one is to strictly regulate urbanization and tourism inside Tibet. And the fifth one is it's a demand or request for the global citizen to take up a climate action for the protection of Tibet's environment.
So, Dechen, talking about COP, Conference for the Parties, we know that you will be attending COP26 very soon. In Conference for the Parties, there will be leaders, diplomats, researchers from different parts of the world representing their own countries. And Dishala, you should also be aware about the fact that, when, like many people, when they talk about the issues of Tibet, what they do is that they tend to ignore and not talk about Tibet's issue, even though, like you said, Tibet is the third pole or the water tower of Asia. What are the appeals that you're going to make in COP26 this time, and what are your expectations?
Since 2009, the TBI, Environment and Development Desk of the Tibet Policy Institute, has been attending COP. It's my third time I'm going to attend the COP conference, so I got the experience. Since we are attending a COP as an observer, not as a negotiator or a government delegate. There were thousands and thousands of people who have gathered there, there were around 190 countries, different countries, they have, part of this conference. And to talk about the COP, basically it's a climate change conference organized by the United Nations. So it was first beginning in 1995, held in 1995 in Germany. So in this, climate change, it is affecting whole of world, right? Okay. So that's why there are different countries, they have different interests, they have come together and discuss about the climate change and how to tackle this climate change. So while attending this conference, we approach each and every delegates, like a pavilion there in the COP venue. So we talk about the importance of Tibetan Plateau and what is our demand, and we give this 5-point call for action, the paper. Some countries, especially US and most of the developed countries, they are very welcoming and very they listen and they make sure that they will raise this issue with the while negotiating with the other countries. Whereas when we meet and the underdeveloped country or developing countries like Bhutan or Southeast Asian countries, Laos, Thailand, they are little hesitant to talk to us, and they with our attire, me wearing chupa, they can clearly say that I'm a Tibetan. So by seeing me itself, they try to avoid me, but we try to approach them, try to talks to them about how important Tibetan Plateau is, not only for us and for the all the Southeast Asian countries, all this Mekong River, Irrawaddy, and Salween River. These all rivers, it comes from Tibet. So whatever happens in Tibet, it will have impact on them. So we try to raise awareness about the Tibetan Plateau, whenever we meet, and we also try to go to every event where Chinese delegates comes there, and we raise question about the Tibet.
Besides talking to the panelists, besides attending all the cabins and and all the conferences, what other activities do the Tibet Policy Institute, the researchers of Tibet Policy Institute do there?
We go and give talk to the different universities. We meet different MPs. The coming next COP, we have already planned to give talk in the University of Oxford, University of Westminster, or University of East Anglia. So there were many universities we have already arranged
the schedule.
Schedule for the talk. Yeah. So we have so many activities. While when we go there, we doesn't just attend the COP. On this, by side, we attend or meet many people, many important political figures. Last year in COP 25 in Spain, we met many European Parliament members or the MPs of Spain government, and we raise issues of Tibet's environment. How important it is for the whole world. Whatever happens on Tibetan Plateau, it have impact on not only Tibet, as I've mentioned before, it will have impact whole world.
Dechen, like you said that you have been attending COP since the last 3 years. How much awareness do these university students have on the Tibet's environmental crisis?
I think like it's because of the environment and development desk of the Tibet Policy Institute working for the past many years, and not only TPI, there were many Tibet support group. They have also make campaign or create awareness about the importance of Tibetan plateau. So whenever we visit any major environmental conference like a COP, there were like hardly anyone who doesn't know about Tibet. Since Tibet is known as a third pole, it's a water tower of Asia, and all those people, the environmentalists, scientists, and there are hardly anyone who doesn't know about Tibet.
So you also said that the researchers, the environmental researchers of Tibet Policy Institute has been attending Conference of the Parties, COP, since 2009. So how effective has it proved ever since?
As I mentioned before, now we have passed 2009 to until 2021, we have worked on creating awareness about the importance of Tibetan plateau and its importance of making it central to the global discussion of climate change. So now you can see in many UN IPCC report as well, which was recently released, it has covered widely on the Tibetan plateau, and not only this, Congressional Executive Commission on China, they have released a report on China. So every year they have also covered widely on Tibet. You know very well about the Tibet Policy and Support Act. It has also covered widely on Tibet environment. So all these are we think that it's because of people who have worked for the many years, for the protection of Tibet's environment. This is the a success, result of all the hard work they have done for the past many years.
Thank you so much, Dechen, for giving us more information about the environmental crisis of Tibet and letting us know more about COP, Conference for the Parties. Thank you for speaking to Tibettv, Dechen.
Thank you, Sakinala.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode of In Conversation with Tibettv.